Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Ball Games. Here we have Rodney on Reanimator versus Chris on Infect. Bottoming a Unmask. Get shuffled. Got a Fetch. When another Unmask still in hand. Unmask. See who this is targeting. Actually going to target himself. Going for a turn 1 Reanimate Galta. So a turn 1 12-12. Actually not a stellar opening for Reanimator. No resources left. If this is answered with damage or something other than like a Swords to Plowshares, then it could be animated with Animate Dead if Rodney top decks a land. So it's almost resilient. However, Infect really doesn't have any of that. Infect just looking to get a fatty on board, or a small creature on board and turn it into a fatty, I should say. A couple of Noble Hierarchs along with the Glistener Elf. Grief. Tries to disrupt. These just a couple of lands. Invigorate is thrown out there just to survive this attack. So going to be able to soak up 5 of the damage. That Invigorate really was going to be necessary for the crackback. And yeah, fetching while at 1 life, that's a wrap. Going out on his own terms. Reanimator just a little too fast there on the play. Infect basically going to want to get a creature on board and then use spells like Invigorate, pump it up to deal lethal Infect damage. 10 poison counters, doesn't matter what your opponent's life total is. That's a wrap. See how he does for game 2 with the play. Infect. This time leading out with a Brainstorm. Really, Glistener Elf probably just straight up the best opener. Gives the potential for a turn 2 win. A turn 1 Inkmoth Nexus also can theoretically win the game. And Rodney actually just using the natural discard. Going to 8. Putting Archon into the graveyard. Like he's going to be firing off some type of reanimation. After a Grief. That's what's next in the slideshow here. Yes. Clearing the way. What's Chris have going on here? 2 mana left. Rodney's side. Chris tanking here, considering countering the Grief, I think. Alright, so we've got a Daze. Legolas's Quick Reflexes. Embiggen, Invigorate. So this could be over real fast. Wow, is this actually just going to be lethal? See if he has enough mana. Very interesting. Legolas's Quick Reflexes. Devastating card. See if he can find the line here. Archon's going to be coming in. Lose that Daze. Oh no, he ditched a land. I think he needed to lose that Daze. Inkmoth is going to stand up. So let's see here. Embiggen will turn into a 6-power creature. He was just like a mana shy from doing what he actually needed to do. Embiggen will make it 6 power. And then he had Legolas's quick reflexes, that would actually be phenomenal. Be able to tap to kill the Archon. Instead, he's got to dump his whole hand. Does clear the current threat, but the graveyard's still lethal. Another reanimation effect will put him so far behind. Ink Moth just turning sideways for one. Fortunately, doesn't have the pump effect of Blink Moth Nexus. That's just going to be chipping away one at a time until he finds another land that he can tap out every turn. Hoping that Rodney doesn't draw anything useful in the next 4 turns. This is not a great situation. Yeah, Legolas's quick reflexes could have been really strong. Fun to capture that. I don't know if we've seen a really sick play with that. I guess the finals of the ELD Legacy Open did involve, or at least the top 8 did involve, Legolas's quick reflexes untapping a Knight of the Reliquary. Thoughtseize taking a shot at that one card left. No, actually stripping a card out of his hand. It looks like it was the Gristlebrand. Oh yeah, it was Gristlebrand. Here we go. So Exhume, Gristlebrand. Chris gets back like a Noble Hierarch. Not a fair trade whatsoever. Gristlebrand to be able to draw 7 cards. Doesn't need to worry about damage either, as his Ink Moths are dealing Infect damage, meaning that it's poison counters instead of damage, not both. Verifying life totals, making sure Thoughtseizes and fetches are all accounted for. Down to 5. Let's see here. Interesting. Sacrificing a Lotus Petal there instead of the fetch land. I'm not sure what the thought process was there. Don't end up using all of your mana. At least have an extra Lotus Petal going into a future turn. Blighted Agent. Left in hand. Not able to take that with Duress, but can animate, grabbing another Archon. And that does get rid of the Blighted Agent. And sets a lethal clock immediately. This is a disaster. He can survive the pair of chump blocks after the Archon trigger, but this is gruesome. I guess technically he can actually take damage from one of these and still survive. Anything that can give him the ability to track back for lethal. If he was able to hold on to a card in hand. Archon, however, not very giving mood. He never is. Not going to leave you with any cards in hand in this situation. Stops you from being able to draw Brainstorm and can convert that into, say, 2 Invigorates, which could steal the game from this position, but I don't think there's a single card in his deck that can do it. Blocking Gristlebrand. 5 damage comes in. Loses his Ink Moth. Rodney can't really do too much from here. Possible he could get a couple more Archons into play. That would be a problem. Actually draining him out immediately, but for the most part, this is just a thought exercise. Is there a way to actually win from here right now? I don't think Chris has any counterplay. Animate dead, bringing back another Archon down to 1. Can he find yet another one? Shutting off that final point of life. Not actually going to be relevant with no cards in hand. A fetch land, not going to be useful. I guess allowing Chris to go out the same way both games, maybe just a little bit of style, was worth the extra effort, as Rodney takes this one out.